Hello, and welcome back to another episode of the Elevated Marketing Podcast, where we simplify complicated digital marketing topics to make your business grow. My name is Jennifer, and I have with me
Brenna Jackson. Hello.
And on today's podcast, we're going to talk about one of Brenna's favorite types. No, I don't know if it's favorite. Email marketing is one of her favorite types of marketing, but I don't know about automation strategies because it definitely takes a lot of brain power to think that through. Wouldn't you agree?
I do agree, yes. There's a lot into it, and we'll get there.
Yeah. You just, once you get into the automation of marketing, like you really got to think about it because nobody wants to feel like they're automated, right?
Right. And you don't want to annoy people, and it's easy to do with automations.
Yes. Okay. So we're going to play Would You Rather. We haven't done this in a couple episodes. Well, it's been a little bit more than a couple episodes. Would you rather have everyone you know be able to read your thoughts or everyone you know have access to your internet history? What is more revealing?
You can scroll through my internet history. You do not want to know what I'm thinking.
Oh, I can't agree with that more. It's a crazy mind in here, and I just sometimes think things that definitely don't need to come out.
Yes. Yeah. I won't even go down that rabbit hole because that's scary enough in itself. So.
If I'm Googling something, it's because I want to learn.
Mm-hmm.
And so I can justify just about anything unless I was on the witness stand and I had to justify why I did internet searches because I love crime history. Mm-hmm. And so I'm always Googling crime, and I once was going to be a lawyer, criminal justice lawyer. And so, it probably wouldn't look good.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Well, for today's show, let's talk about email automation strategies. And if you're not familiar with the term, just to define email automation, it's basically just an email that automatically comes out because somebody did this or they did that or they're on this list. And they're things that you would repeat over and over. So you can set up in your email marketing platform ways to automate things that you would say over and over. Another term you might hear us talk about today is evergreen emails. And what we mean by that is essentially email content that isn't going to change with time. And so you would still say the same thing a year from now that you would say now. Now, I know in business, things change, but you want to think about that email content that, I would say the same thing to someone regardless of where they came from. And that's important because Brenna's going to talk about it a little bit, but you don't want to be super annoying. If somebody's in this stage of buying and you send them something automated and they're I already bought.
Yeah.
What do you think, Brenna?
Yeah, I think it's important to kind of put yourself in maybe your consumer's shoes and think about receiving 1 million emails a week. It's not ideal, so don't do it. Also, you need to have, logistically speaking, you need to be sure you're pretty comfortable with, some conditional logic or, even just different integrations that might service whatever platform you're using.
Yeah.
You need to know about all that before you go automation crazy.
You got to think about it because you are leaving an impression on people's mindset of your company. And you might be thinking, I'm just trying to be efficient, which is also a good trait, but you could be too efficient.
Yeah.
So,
Definitely.
all right, let's get into the meat of today's topic. So, let's talk about your favorite top email automation strategies worth implementing, and maybe just a little bit of why to and why not to do this. So,
Yeah.
go ahead.
Well, I think if you take anything from today's episode, is that you absolutely should have a welcome series set up. So essentially, if someone subscribes to, say, your newsletter, or maybe they make a purchase and they double opt in, they fill out a form and they double opt in, anything of that sort, if they are just entering your email list for the first time, you want to hit them with a welcome email. It's really just to kind of introduce, who you are, what you do with these customers. I'm not sure how else to. It's a welcome series.
Say hello. All right, what's your next favorite?
Yes. Well, abandoned series. So whether that's abandoned cart, browse abandonment, I'm sure there are a few more that we could hit on that list, but you definitely want to try to keep in contact with those who
Back in stock,
Yes.
subscription renewal. I mean, we've certainly talked about those before. Like, those are things that you could automate because, like, it's back in stock and you have this like event or like thing that you set up that fires in your website and you want people to be able to buy your product because it's back in stock. Subscription renewal, which, I saw somebody mention this, and I just want to say that, like, if it's a subscription, like, it's a subscription, just let it renew.
Yeah.
And unless you have like some sort of like short term, like that's the point of a subscription renewal or subscription, is that it just automatically reoccurs. I guess you could have situations where the subscription doesn't automatically renew. Okay, yeah, I get it now. That would be good. But
Maybe. Or if maybe for whatever reason you have to increase your cost on that subscription, definitely want to let people know. But
yeah. All right, what's your next one?
I do love post-purchase follow-up emails. So just trying to get some feedback, whether that be a product that you're selling or maybe a service.
Oh yeah.
You want to thank your customers and still keep, a little bit of contact with them.
It's part of the sales cycle, and people don't think about that. Like, they just bought something, like, say thank you.
Exactly.
And there's plenty of ways to like automate that and ask for the review, because we've talked about the value of reviews in your marketing, or ask for feedback, like, how can we get better? Sometimes people don't want to hear that answer, but it will make you run a better business.
Absolutely.
All right, what's next?
Upselling and cross-selling series.
Mhm.
I don't know. I mean, I think they can be helpful if maybe you've got a segmented list of customers who haven't purchased in a while. But if you are throwing customers who purchased in the last 30, 60, maybe even 90 days, I mean, if you're trying to get them to buy more based on other products you think they might be interested, I just think it can come off maybe a little aggressive in a sense.
Yeah, to a little multi-level marketing. I think that's what you're going for.
Yeah.
Nothing against that industry, but you don't want to always be selling people like constantly. It could get annoying, and I think that's part of like thinking about your strategy of automating things. Sure, you sell a lot of products and services, so maybe if the language in it isn't so much as selling but educational about other products and services, then I think like that would be a great one to add.
I agree with that. Yeah.
There you go. All right, what's the next one?
So you could do event triggered emails. We also love this over here. You may be offering a free download on your website. Maybe you have a webinar, some sort of incentive that you're offering. This audience is interested at least enough to, download something from you or sign up for whatever it may be. So you'll still want to, have that consistent communication via email as well.
Yeah. And I know the next one, we kind of already said it, but the feedback requests, surveys, feedback forms, things like that definitely goes along with that. And then I think the next one, like we didn't like talk about this in our definitions in the beginning, but drip campaigns, like I think that's definitely a definition, not necessarily a type of like strategy. It's more of, yeah, well, I guess it is a strategy. I'll let you explain it. Go for it.
Yeah, it's definitely one of those that's more for the long game. You're trying to nurture these contacts over time. You want to take them down your sales funnel.
Yeah.
But a lot of times they aren't coming from just one source. It's usually a lot of times customers, or I should say contacts, kind of clumped in from multiple sources.
Yeah.
So we have the same objective, which is, to take them down the sales funnel.
And why do you say contacts?
Because they are most likely not.
Well, they could be both. They could be a sale or, yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
definitely be somebody that's purchased before or somebody that's not purchased before. Depending on how you built your email list, it could be either or.
Exactly.
Yep. All right. What's your next one?
Yeah. So dynamic content emails. This is essentially, kind of throwing in maybe some resources or blog posts that you have on your website, along with, some sort of product promotion or even service promotion. You're kind of throwing that in together. Some might say that's just a newsletter, and that's essentially what it could be. So I would say maybe pass on that one in terms of an automation, because that's going to change, pretty frequently.
Yep. All right. What is the next one?
I think this will kind of bring us home. Segmented email campaigns. So, a lot of email platforms gives you the capabilities to look at your most engaged email contacts and then your less engaged. And this is where those segmented campaigns can really come into play. And they can be really beneficial, because you can either win back someone's business, or you can keep a solid relationship with these contacts because they're already part of like a loyal fan base in a sense, if they're engaged. And so it can be very beneficial.
I think about this too, like when you were talking about event-based marketing and like segmenting people based on the fact that they did this or did that. And so I want to put them into maybe a certain drip campaign because they were inside of this particular type of audience. So it was segmented.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, especially if you run a lot of events, if they've gone to one event, it's likely that they'll be interested in your next one. And that's an example. Yeah.
I think the other caution here on the segmented email campaigns is make sure you have the resources to segment as much as you want to segment, because each one of them you need to like think through and come up with the content. And you don't want to be like automating again, like really quickly, and you're not thinking about how these people got on your list. You could definitely leave a sour taste on your brand, on your marketing, and like the efficiency. There's a point where it's too much. I think we thought, or we like did an episode recently over underthinking and overthinking your marketing. This definitely falls into that category of overthink it, because you've got the word automation, and nobody wants to be automated when they're buying a product or service. They want to feel like you get them. Well, at least I don't.
No, absolutely agree.
So any last minute thoughts?
Yeah, I think you kind of hit it there. Yes, it's all automated, but is anything ever truly a set it and forget it? Like, you do need to audit these from time to time. Make sure you're not hitting people's inboxes multiple times within a given period. Yeah.
Awesome. All right, guys. Well, thanks for listening. We really appreciate you listening in. If you are on YouTube, certainly hit that subscribe button. And if you're listening on podcast player, wherever you are, please rate and review the podcast so your friends and family and whoever else wants to listen to this podcast can listen to it. And if you don't have time to listen weekly, we certainly have a newsletter. You can find that on our website at elevatedmarketing.solutions. Or you can go over to LinkedIn and find Jennifer Diddy, which is me, and you can subscribe to our newsletter over there. So, all right, take care.